I just had to process this latest drama in the Madeline Soto case with you. It involves the Madeline Soto Redditor moderator named HGhost. Now, I'm not going to say his real name, I'm not going to show his real photos, but he's been exposed as a predator. And so I want to talk about that moderator's 7 red flags that many of us missed, but some of us really caught onto it and we knew something was wrong. So there's been a big shakeup in the true crime world, at least for those of us who've been closely following the case of Madeline Soto. She's the 13-year-old girl who was unfortunately killed by her mother's boyfriend, Stephen Stearns. So in all my years of following true crime, I've never seen anything like this happen. So cunningly, so shockingly. This recent event shows that anyone can ingratiate themselves into not just the true crime community, but start to become this moderator, this leader, as it were, for a subreddit or Reddit community that's up to like 12,000 people right now. So he's a male registered sex offender who duped a lot of people. He took control of this Reddit sub that was dedicated to Maddie. He pretended to be someone who really cared about the victim. I believe he was also masking himself as a female, as a woman who's also been through trauma. Now, the real guy may have been through trauma himself. He probably caused trauma when I read these crimes he's accused of committing to you, but he's also a member of the DID community, this disassociative community. Aside from that, a lot of us spotted the red flags he was presenting ever since he took over the subreddit. So instead of being this concerned true crime victims advocate, I believe this man just fooled so many people, just pulled the wool over their eyes. In actuality, this man has been exposed as someone out of California whose crimes are listed as, quote, possession or control of obscene material depicting minor in sexual conduct. So again, I'm not going to name this 6 foot tall, 250 pound, 37-year-old white male, but you can find his name and his photos all over Reddit, all over Facebook. You know, I trust the people who've uncovered, the Redditors and everyone who say they've uncovered the background of this man, connected it, I guess, somehow via his accounts and emails and what have you. Since I didn't do the background research myself, I'm not going to publish his photo. You can find it all over YouTube and Reddit, though. I'm not going to delve into the drama on YouTube that has happened as a result of this man being exposed. You know, people pointing fingers about who modded for who or whatever. I don't know about all that. I think the most valuable lesson we can study in uncovering this wolf in sheep's clothing is to take a deep dive into how he ingratiated himself into the community, possibly even getting close to Maddie's family, perhaps. We don't know what's lies and what's not, and how we can spot such predators lurking in the true crime community in that arena in the future. And then at the end of this video and all throughout, we'll talk about what I think his sick motivation really was. The way he took such pains to pretend to be one of us. He pretended to be a true crime follower, someone interested in watching Maddie Soto get her justice. You know, we follow these cases, we get as much information as we can. Us YouTubers present them to you guys. We follow the case like some shows say from gavel to gavel, the entire court case. Another show is from victim to verdict, from the point at which we first hear about a victim to the point at which their perpetrator is found guilty or not guilty or confesses or what have you. Some of us follow these cases from beginning to end because it feels like we start to know the victims and we want to advocate for them. We want to do our part for them. Well, not this guy. This guy was playing the long game. In my own mind, I think his outcome, his actual goal, must have been to try and obtain some type of horrible CSAM photos of Maddie. He probably wanted to pass them around to some sick secret society. I'm learning a lot the more I delve into a case like Maddie's. You know, sometimes it's just a missing mom like Suzanne Morphew. Sometimes it's a little boy like Gannon Stout who's harmed by his own stepmom. And now we have this case of Maddie, which unfortunately involves tons of photos of horrible stuff. CSAM, it's not that far of a stretch to think that Stephen Stearns might have been distributing these photos, or if he didn't, maybe pedos like this guy, this HGhost guy who's been exposed as being a child predator, according to the charges, maybe he glommed onto the case, soaked up everything about true crime and the way we speak and the way we care and our mannerisms and everything just to pretend to be one of us, only to see how close he could get to get photos perhaps. What I learned in some of these CSAM societies, probably on the dark web and such, the price of membership, in essence, is providing these horrible photos at least once a week or once a month or something. That's the price of membership. So I'm sure these sickos are constantly looking for new photos. It's almost like discovering a new drug or a new high or new something that they can all just... Anyway, this guy, I thought, and many other people thought, he was a female just because of the way he spoke. He said something about fangirling out over someone, and I think he spoke of his own trauma. So everyone kind of naturally, initially assumed, okay, this is a woman. Maybe she's been abused, and now she's interested in true crime. She wants Maddie to get her justice. Boy, were we fooled a lot, some of us. After a while, these red flags kind of gave it away. So this man started claiming he had everything from so-called exclusive photos of Maddie at the crime scene. I don't believe that. I don't think they would release that to anyone, unless for some reason they would release it to Maddie's close family members. I don't know if that's even a thing. This guy was probably just lying, like he lied about his identity. Now we know there was the one photo where the sheriff accidentally released a photo of Madeline at the crime scene, or rather where she was left, not necessarily the crime scene, where she was left in the woods. That was accidentally posted to Instagram. I know that's made the rounds, but that photo, which I've never published, I've seen it, and you can't see Maddie per se. She's just, it's far away, and from what I remember, I think she's covered up. But this guy claimed to have insider knowledge about Maddie whispering that she liked to be called Madeline, and she always corrected people who called her Maddie. He lied about getting a call from the prosecutor's office proclaiming that Maddie wasn't pregnant, and the nerve of this predator even extended to him contemplating aloud on Reddit, writing a letter from Maddie's point of view, from her perspective in heaven, and literally showing it to Maddie's dad and stepmom. It's just a bridge too far. We're going to talk about all these red flags. I'm even going to show you some of my replies to him when I assumed, I was talking to some female true crime moderator. Thank God, I don't think he ever emailed me, or I don't think he ever DM'd me. This is a learning lesson. This is a cautionary tale for all of us, to show all of us in true crime how far some creepers are willing to go to just get into communities and start messaging people and even taking over communities. It's really, really weird. It's really scary. And I'm not blaming any creator at all, or administrator or mod, for falling for this person who I truly believe duped so many people. Heck, even Stephen Stearns posed as this monster hiding in plain sight, basically. He was under the handle Sustene. Even as Stephen Stearns in real life was harming Maddie in the worst ways possible, he was boldly going onto Reddit, posting a photo of, this is my girlfriend's 9-year-old daughter. Here we've worked for hours on these little things he's painted. Even Stephen Stearns was giving advice to some pregnant 19-year-old. So if he could be that way, why wouldn't there be some creeper trying to mix in with the true crime community and take over a sub dedicated to Maddie? And why shouldn't we expect other pedos to glom onto cases like this in the future on Reddit, on Facebook, and elsewhere? So by deep diving into these tactics of HGhost, we can arm ourselves now, this 21st century knowledge of what to look forward to, or the things to look for when we're covering similar cases. Moderators, everyone, administrators can look towards this guy's tactics to figure out how to spot a creeper like that and get him out of the community before he takes too much control, I believe, like this guy did. So first, let's start out before we get into the red flags. What is Reddit's role in true crime? So first of all, many of us know, social media plays a huge role in true crime. We don't just have, like they call it, the dead tree media anymore. Newspapers. Back in the day, Truman Capote wrote In Cold Blood, and that book was like, it was a linchpin. It was a change in how true crime was covered. And newspapers, of course, covered it, and we had magazines. And then with the O.J. Simpson trial, the Menendez brothers, all these things turned the public wanting more and more the details, the ins and outs of true crime, watching the court cases. Now with the internet, of course, people are going to want to know more. They're going to want to know it sooner and everything. For example, the only way I found out Stephen Stearns was in court yesterday, I was looking 9 a.m. Where is he? Where is he? The only way I got photos was by going on Twitter, searching for Stephen Stearns' name, choosing the latest, and thank God I immediately saw the photos that the Osceola News-Gazette posted at 9:32 a.m. on Monday, October 14th, only minutes after they posted it. I was like, wow, so social media can be a great thing when it's just real reporters or citizen journalists or whomever wanting to pass along valid information. The Osceola News-Gazette may have been the only one to get any photos of Stearns yesterday. Perhaps they were the sole reporter in the courtroom. Twitter is great for breaking news. Facebook groups have also begun to play a major role in these crime cases or missing persons groups. Sometimes it's just a missing person and a group gets created around that missing person. People come together, they share clues. The best thing you can hope for is that person to be found unharmed. Oops, it was just a miscommunication. Unfortunately, some of those missing persons groups end up turning into case discussions groups, learning why that person was murdered. So groups dedicated to Madeline Soto have members in the tens of thousands, sharing updates and photos and videos and wonderful things. Like this woman, Jenny, she just seems so wonderful and so genuine. It's just something about her I trust. She runs a large Madeline Soto group, and she's really heartfelt. She just went live and apologized for even introducing this guy to the community. She didn't know who he was, and I believe her. You know, some people just hit you up and you don't know who the heck they are, and they pretend like they have the right motive. So she apologized from her heart for even introducing this Reddit moderator into the Facebook group community. Now, true crime forums like Web Sleuths, they have tons of threads about this case also. And I tell you what, after this, especially, I always appreciated the way Trisha runs Web Sleuths, the owner. I appreciate it even more when stuff like this happens. She really, I believe, does her due diligence when it comes to any member who gets on there and they claim they have inside knowledge, they know the family, or they are even a lawyer or a doctor or whatever, they have some specific insight into the particular case being discussed. Well, they can become like a verified person. So I don't know the process they go through. I don't know if that person has to prove, they're a family member by showing their driver's license or showing photos or showing something. But whatever they do on Web Sleuths, it's working. They only try and cite the facts with verified links, mainstream media articles, or something where it's a little more trustworthy. It's not just like, trust me, bro, like this HGhost guy. That sounds like, when I asked him for verification, it sounds like he was one of those, trust me, bro, this news is from the family, trust me, bro. I don't think this
kerfuffle
that would have happened on Web Sleuths. There's a ton of due diligence there. And of course, other Facebook administrators, a lot of people, Reddit mods, are very diligent in who they try and let onto the site, I'm sure. But now we get to Reddit. It's an excellent platform that took over from the days of dig.com. I don't know who remembers dig.com, but it was kind of had the Reddit kind of vibe, but dig just collapsed, and it's probably still in existence, but Reddit just took over. So a sub or a subreddit is a niche community on the Reddit platform, and subreddits are independently moderated by community members. They have their own rules and regulations. It's not just true crime. I'm in the Corgi subreddit, or the mildly interesting, or the, well, that sucks, or am I the a-hole? They have all these great communities, Final Cut Pro, video editing, YouTubers, new YouTubers. They have all these different communities. Whatever your interests are, you can join. And so, of course, the Madeline Soto case grabbed so many people's interest, and there's quite a few Madeline Soto communities now, and some, splintering off because of all this. It's not just drama. It's more than drama. This isn't even about drama. It's about a predator infiltrating a community designed to get help for a child sexual assault victim. And that's what's really scary about it. Some people have literally reported this man to the police in California. So this is kind of how it got started, kind of how he was busted. 2 days ago, there was a mod announcement in the Madeline Soto sub that read, "It has come to our attention that a mod who was in charge of the Jen Soto is guilty AF sub, and this one, the Madeline Soto sub, should have never been affiliated. Quote, with recent events, we are establishing better safety and standards. There are no longer mods affiliated with any YouTube channels or other concerning issues." Now, I don't know about that. That's a whole nother drama. I don't like YouTube drama, so I'm not getting into that. We appreciate your patience with us, as we are humans just like you, and we only want the same thing, which is justice for Madeline Soto. Please allow some time today as we fix and process what has been broken here. So, Reddit subs, we can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. The subs can be wonderful. They can be filled with wonderful, intelligent, thoughtful people who use it just for its purpose. So you guys remember how that one post on Reddit, just one singular post from Barb the Stallion, inspired me to create that whole timeline video about Jennifer Soto texting Stefan Stearns' dad to get him a lawyer only 2 minutes after she saw the child abuse photos? It was a Redditor who had listened to all the interviews and realized, wait a minute, Chris Stearns said Jen texted him 4:04 p.m. on Wednesday, February 28th. That's the same day, right when Jennifer was being interviewed. Let's go match up the times, and it was perfect. That's the kind of community that represents the best of Reddit. That's when Reddit users can be great, but not everyone is on Reddit to help. And I'm realizing there are ways that we can be, quote, wise as serpents and innocent as doves, as Jesus told his disciples in Matthew 10:16, in order to suss out these kind of predators. So we can be as innocent as doves in terms of wanting justice for Maddie, not being a creeper, not wanting anything creepy, but wise as serpents, wise as the people who are slithering their way into the community for nefarious purposes. So that leads us to red flag number 1. The day HGhost took over. So it was about 3 weeks ago. There was a new post with the label Mod Update. It appeared in the Madeline Soto subreddit. Hey everyone, just an update, it read, with the now deleted name showing where the HGhost name used to be. So this is the flowery language he used. I'm honored to step in as the person in charge of this amazing community. As we move forward together, my goal is to lead this subreddit with integrity, respect, and a focus on unity. This space exists for all of us to share, connect, and support each other as we honor Madeline Soto. And I'm committed to ensuring it stays a peaceful and welcoming environment for everyone. Let's remember why we are here: to celebrate Madeline's memory and the impact she has had on our lives. I encourage open and respectful discussion, collaboration, and above all, kindness. Together we can continue to build a community and create a space where we can uplift each other. I'm looking forward to working with all of you and hearing your thoughts on how we can make this subreddit the best it can be. Thank you for your trust, and let's keep moving forward together. HGhost. Now, I don't know where this guy came from. These are my red flags. The sweet, syrupy language. Where did he even come from? I don't even know what happened to the prior mod or why he took over or what happened. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. But back then I was like, okay, good enough. Here's another, hopefully great administrator who cares about Maddie, who will, doing what I thought was a female. I just thought from the language, and most people in true crime are females, and just the way he spoke fooled people. But it's just that language of, come on guys, let's be a great community. Red flag. Red flag number 2. This was a big one. The let's say her name post. And a lot of this stuff was kind of being cross-posted on Facebook. And I don't think I have all those Facebook screenshots because I wanted to see who I was communicating with. Because I noticed the same language on Reddit and in the Facebook group, so I was like, okay, I'm communicating with the same person here. It's pretty obvious. But a few days ago, this post appeared and it got my hinky meter dancing around so much I replied asking him for proof. I don't know why he created this. HGhost wrote, "We're all here to honor Madeline and fight for the justice she so deeply deserves." So notice how he's adopted the language of, true crime advocates who really do want Maddie to get justice. It's like he's just being a parrot. He wrote, "There's something small but meaningful that's been weighing on my heart. We call her by different names. Madeline, Maddie, Madalena." Now, I've never heard anyone call Maddie Madalena. Is that perhaps an Easter egg he threw in there, playing in our faces? Madalena is a form of the Hebrew name Magdalene, like Mary Magdalene, meaning the woman from Magdala. It refers to the saint and companion of Jesus, Mary Magdalene. And then he went on to say, okay, we might call her by different names, Madeline, Maddie, Madalena. But I remember hearing a story about how much it meant to her to be called Madeline. It's almost like he was chastising us, even on Facebook too. I remember when this came out. This guy said every time someone called her Maddie, she would gently say, "No, it's Madeline." That name wasn't just a preference, it was part of who she was. It might seem like a little thing, but I believe it's a powerful way to keep her spirit alive. By calling her Madeline, we're not just saying a name, we're honoring the person she was, her identity, her wishes. I know many of us are used to calling her Maddie, and that's okay if it feels right to you. Like, who is this guy telling us what we can call a victim? But imagine how much it would mean to her and to her memory if we all came together and called her by the name she loved. What do you think? Could we honor her in this way? Now, literally, when I read this, at first I felt bad for a split second, because of course you want to call a victim whatever name they preferred. I was almost beating myself up like, wait a minute, all this time, how did I not know she preferred to be called Madeline? I love calling people by what they prefer. But then I started thinking, wait, no. Jennifer, I'm sure Jennifer has called her Maddie in some of her interviews. I'm sure I think I've heard Tyler, Madeline's bio dad, call her Maddie. I believe maybe, and it's hard because some of them are redacted, of course, but I really believe I heard Jen's ex-husband potentially call her Maddie. A lot of people called her Maddie. And so if this were true, I believe her loved ones would have called her Madeline. They would have just said, oh, she preferred Madeline. So I was thinking, oh my goodness, how could I have missed this? But I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't sound right. This is weird. And how is this person going to be chastising us for calling her Maddie all this time when this is the first time we're hearing about this so-called preference of names? The red flags here, dubious claims. I remember hearing a story. That's akin to, trust me, bro. That's why people are like, what? So he repeated the same claims on Facebook, and I was replying to him in both places. So on Reddit, I wrote, thanks, can you point me to the exact interview where her family said that Madeline preferred to be called Madeline? Thanks again. I'm being really sweet. Sometimes, you feel like you got to kiss up to some of these moderators and administrators, especially the ones that are on the power trip. They're like, if you say one thing they don't agree with, you're out of there. But the good thing is, no matter what you get kicked out of, there's other groups popping up all the time with mods that are cool. Anyway, HGhost replied, it wasn't in an interview. It was a personal conversation with her family that I had. So this guy is claiming he's had a personal conversation with Maddie's family about her preference to be called Madeline. Okay, giving him the benefit of the doubt. I wrote, okay, thank you. That's why people don't know these things, because Jen Soto has called her Maddie, and I believe Tyler did too, so we could only assume that was her preferred term of endearment or preferred name. He wrote, I'm not sure on her father, but Jen always said things that would be mean towards Madeline. Name 5 good things she said about her. Bet you can't, winky face. Ugh. When you think about who you're really communicating with here. Ugh. So my red flag there was he changed the subject pretty quickly away from me asking for proof. His whole proof was basically, trust me, bro, I talked to the family. So I replied, you're correct. Jen only once said Madeline had a beautiful voice. She said that in the transport interview. I heard it. It's hard to hear, but she said it when she was being transported during one of those interviews. That's the only kind thing I can remember Jen said about her daughter that was kind. So now I'm trying to prove that he's truly speaking to Tyler and Tatiana, Maddie's dad and stepmom. I asked, do you know why Shannon Butler's interview on WFTV Channel 9 with Tatiana and Tyler's mom was pulled? Just curious. I've been, figuring out, trying to find that interview for months now. I wrote, I'm grateful the family is speaking to you, and I think it would help if they spoke out about facts like this so we can all learn. Thanks again. Again, I think I'm talking to some woman who's a true crime advocate here. HGhost wrote, I'm not sure, but they wanted to be able to grieve privately in peace. I do have some family pictures showing they were involved in her life that I was going to post this evening. As for the beautiful voice, I can't remember context. Was she saying she thought that, or was she saying Stefan thought that? That's when I gave up on, I believe, replying at all to this person because, the Holy Spirit does warn us, like, this person isn't who you say they are. And that's why I can be standoffish. I mean, I talk to a lot of people and, I get it. Some people just want to be able to access me more and talk to me more. But like Kanye said, it's 1,000 yous, it's only one of me. I'm out here with my real name, my real face. I'm on camera. I'm kind of I won't say open book, but I'm out here. And other people who are hiding behind all these avatars and fake names and fake personalities. And then they want you to just give access to them. I'm just like, I don't know who you are. I'm sorry, but I don't know you. I know some people are very genuine and they just have to keep private, but for reasons like this is why I don't trust some people. So the red flags here was he had no additional information other than what's already available to the public. I mean, anyone can say, it's true. I'm sure they want to be able to grieve privately in peace. And then he immediately jumps on this family pictures because he has to prove they were involved in her life. That was his mantra. Tyler and Tatiana were in Maddie's life. And it's kind of like, okay, why are you pressing that fact so hard? I don't know. It was just weird. So that was weird. He didn't have any insider information like, oh yeah, I talked to the family. Yeah. But he couldn't tell me why they pulled the Channel 9 interview. If someone was really close to the family and spoke with them, maybe they'd know that information. He didn't even remember that part of the case where Jen did give Maddie that soul compliment. She has a beautiful voice, Jennifer said in the back of that transport video. Supposedly this guy learned about, I think, Maddie's case on TikTok and he soaked up all the information. And before you know it, he's all over here running this subreddit dedicated to her. So, red flag number 3, speaking of photos. So this guy seems to be really big on photos, and now I see why. He was really big on CSAM photos, apparently. So allegedly, according to someone who DM'd me on Twitter, quote, he had begun to tell people he had pictures of Maddie, deceased, unedited, and uncut images. I doubt that's true. He has baby pictures of Maddie. She said, the woman who told me, she said, I don't know who provided them. Well, on Tyler, the bio dad's Facebook, there are baby pictures of Maddie. I found those when I first started researching the case. So I don't know if this guy is just like HGhost was bigging himself up. Like, I've got photos of Maddie when she was a baby. Let me prove to you I'm talking to the family. I don't know his deal. But according to Redditors, he had posted, this drawing, I guess, of Maddie. I saw it. I'm not going to put it up anywhere. And links to his photos on his Flickr account and other places, some kind of nefarious places, were disturbing with their focus on young people. It was just like, I don't know, you're a grown 37-year-old man. Why are you focusing on all these young people? Weird. But his artwork has been deleted from that DID forum on Reddit. So HGhost was big on photos, which I believe, again, leads to his ultimate in-game motivation. Thank God people background checked him. Several days ago, I caught a post that said something like, he was proving that Tyler and Tatiana was in Madeline's life. Then he posted a series of 10 photos of Maddie with her dad and her stepmom and that side of the family. Redditors say he called this fact-checking and presented this post as irrefutable proof that they were in her life. This is one problem with the true crime community. Some people get too ingratiated, even with the family, and I get it. They feel like they have to be a spokesperson for certain family members, and we don't even know if they even knew the family, at least not this guy. But he wrote, I would like to clear some things up with pictures. So he posted all these photos of Maddie. Some we've seen. Maybe he just pulled them from Facebook. Maybe he really did get them from someone who got them from Tyler. I have no idea. But the red flags are, while the photos may be valid, and I do believe HGhost really duped some honest Facebook administrators, I did feel the need. I remember the other night I was hearing my phone clicking as I was just screenshotting. I think it's 10 photos, screenshotting them because I knew they would disappear. HGhost had to put his watermark on there. I get it. I do watermarking for different reasons because people take your research on YouTube and present it as their own. That's the reason I have to watermark everything up to high heaven over here. But HGhost was watermarking those photos. I didn't get the whole text of what he was saying, but he was saying something about, I don't know, it was some kind of weird caption he put with it as if to prove, see, Tyler and Tatiana did spend time with Maddie, and it was kind of like, I don't know, what's your point? But red flag number 4, breaking news from prosecutor office post. That's what it read. This was when I really knew he was like, okay, you're not real. It was about 3 weeks ago. HGhost wrote, I just received a call. It's hard. He doesn't use punctuation. They wanted me to break the news before media gets it. Prosecutors just spoke to my direct source and they gave some new info. Prosecutors have announced Madeline was not pregnant. Jennifer Soto, as of now, is still not going to be indicted, and they still don't know a reason why Stephen Stearns killed Maddie. Red flags. Woo. First of all, these red flags are that it's a crime the way he doesn't use punctuation. What's wrong with a period or a comma? Do people take English classes anymore? That's all I want to know. Secondly, while it very well could be true that the Facebook administrators, the ones I trust, and really I think her heart is just in the right place, perhaps she really did get the information from Maddie's dad. Now that I can't dispute, I just don't know. Like HGhost wrote, as if he was trying to make it seem like the prosecutor's office called him. And maybe that's why people intentionally don't include punctuation. I just received a call. They wanted me to break the news before media gets it. Prosecutors just spoke to my direct source and they gave some new info! Exclamation point. Did the prosecutors really announce this? I don't know. I doubt that anyone cared about HGhost breaking the news first on Reddit. So that's why I haven't mentioned this at all now. When people asked HGhost for details, he didn't have them. So it's reasons like this why a lot of people do want to reach out. People want to get on the phone with me. People develop parasocial relationships. So many people just want to FaceTime you and just blah, 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 this and that. And I've learned over the years, some people I will message with back and forth here and there, symbiotic relationships, but I'm not one for, getting too deeply in. And this is why, just because of this fake creeper who he misled so many people who automatically assumed, okay, we have the same motivation here. Our motivation is to watch this trial through, to see Maddie get her justice, to create memorials for her, keep her memory alive, make people aware of SA and the tactics. And this guy, look at his tactics. Red flag number 5. Oh, this was a trip too. His would-be letter to Tyler and Tatiana from Maddie's point of view. Can you imagine the hubris of someone writing a letter from a victim's point of view, from a dead girl's point of view? I mean, as if Maddie wasn't abused enough when she was alive. Now this creeper is trying to put himself in her place and write a letter to present it to her dad. I mean, anyway, HGhost wrote a post titled, "Just wanted to share a little more about who Maddie was." And in the comments, I don't know what he wrote. I'm trying to remember what he wrote there about who she was. It just seemed like such a lovely tribute, you know, all about her personality. It almost came off as, hey guys, let's not focus on, you know, her horrible death. Let's focus on who she was in life, which is a great sentiment, except when you realize who it's actually coming from. In the comments, he wrote, quote, "I will be working on more. I have a letter to Tyler and Tatiana in the point of view of Maddie in heaven. Debating on posting as well. My fear is people can't play nice on here. I guess if they don't, they can go somewhere else. Green heart." Ugh. So not only is this guy being bold and cocky enough to write this tribute to Maddie and claim he wants to write a letter from her point of view in heaven, like he never met her. And he's a creeper doing some of the same things that Stefan Stearns was doing, at least in terms of CSAM photos. Those are the charges. Not only is he so bold as to do all that, but he's also saying, my fear is people can't play nice on here. I guess if they don't, they can go somewhere else. Always threatening users like, if you don't toe the line like we want in this subreddit, you're out. And he kicked so many people out and there was so much censoring. Thankfully, some rational person replied to him, "I think it would be an overstep to write from the first person perspective of a dead child and direct it at their family members." I mean, can you imagine? To me, that's as bad as the people who, you know, those folks, those scammers, Jennifer Soto even mentioned it. The people who are so low that they will literally call the mom of a missing child and pretend and go, help, help, it's me. Those are some of the lowest scum on earth. That's what this reminds me of. HGhost wrote, "True, I scrapped the idea." Someone else replied, "Thank God." So those red flags. By thinking of writing a letter from Maddie's perspective, I feel like HGhost, he was trying to get even closer to Maddie in some sort of sick way, maybe in the spiritual realm or something. And I think he was trying to maybe again ingratiate himself with the family. Like, did he think, oh, this letter will be so popular, like especially women, let's face it, there's a lot of women in true crime, these women will eat it up. And you know, did he think it would get the attention of Maddie's dad and he'd be even more in there in concert with his dad or something? And I think in a way HGhost was competing as if he were trying to be one of Maddie's friends, like whichever wonderful friend of Maddie's wrote this heartfelt poem that was featured in her memorial. Now I believe this is real. I believe this really came from one of Maddie's little friends. And another odd thing about this poem, I mean, this is great, it just has commas after every line, something I saw from that other poem that I believe Stefan Stearns wrote. So I'm like, I don't know, did people see these poems in Maddie's memorial and try and duplicate them? Did Stearns do that? Anyway, this HGhost guy, did he get jealous of this poem and say, well, I can one up you, I can write a letter from Maddie's perspective? Anyway, from Maddie's friend, this poem is great. It says, "You were pretty, you were kind, you were everything I liked. I couldn't be sad around you even if I tried. You were the sun, society is the moon. If you told us, we all would have believed you." That's the line that gets people. If you told us, we all would have believed you. I miss you so much, but I feel okay knowing knowing you're doing fine up above. I'll try not to cry, I'll try not to shed, but I'll always be lucky you were my friend. Okay, red flag number 6. HGhost's connection to Tracy, who claims her credit card was stolen to pay Stefan Stearns' $50 lawyer filing fee for a public defender. So you might remember this drama. On October 6, 2024, a woman I'll just call Tracy, I'm not going to put her last name or her photos or her address or anything out there. She showed up on the court docket in Osceola. It's out there on the court docket. You can verify what I'm saying. Stefan Stearns' public defender filing fee was paid. So, if you watched the video, I reached out to Stephen Stearns' attorney. She didn't know who Tracy was. She said some people just pay that fee because they think if they don't, the defendant would lose his legal team. Obviously, he hasn't. He had a total of 4 lawyers on that team yesterday, and one of them was vying to try and get his trial pushed out to 2027. Thankfully, the judge was like, no way. In the meantime, a now locked post from a deleted user reads, Tracy pays Stefan's legal fees. So allegedly, Tracy reached out to HGhost in order to clear her name. Maybe Tracy was familiar with Reddit, I don't know, and just reached out to the moderator, and that's how she got hooked up with HGhost. I have no idea. But then we started seeing all these comments. Several comments claim I'm Tracy and I had my credit card used without my permission. I've contacted the county clerk and disputed with my credit card company. Please know that I am not in any support of this nasty human being. I don't have any knowledge of this person. I have no connection. HG even posted a screenshot of disputes against the $52.50 charge, along with a claim that Tracy's card was frozen. A lot of people are like, why would you just freeze your card if it was stolen? Why not cancel it? I don't know. And supposedly, HGhost supposedly put Tracy in touch with a YouTube creator who conducted an interview with Tracy. Many people are just doubting Tracy's story. Stranger things have happened, but I don't know who would use a stolen credit card number to pay a court fee. Well, maybe someone, maybe it's stolen and maybe they didn't want their name on the filing fee and maybe they did it. I don't know if Tracy's lying or not. I just don't know. But that whole situation and HGhost involvement was a red flag. I'm not saying any YouTube creator or even Tracy or anyone knew who HGhost was in real life, but it was just all weird. Red flag number 7. But one thing, I do appreciate Jenny for just going live on Facebook and speaking from the heart and admitting, this guy duped me. And that's how I feel to an extent too, because I was like, you could tell I was looking at him with a side eye like, what are you talking about, dude? I didn't even know he was a dude. At least Jenny admitted this guy just fooled me. And I really believe she was just fooled by who he was. Red flag number 7. HGhost has ghosted everyone, or at least we think he has. So upon learning that some, Redditors and Facebook users and YouTubers, we're pretty good at doing background checks. I didn't background check this guy, but other people have. Allegedly, HGhost got nervous when he realized the gig was up and he was exposed, and the user HGhost has gone ghost, literally. This user has deleted their account. So that's a red flag to me, because if someone was trying to expose me, do an expose on me, I don't think I would run and hide. I remember someone creating, a YouTube video about me. They assumed my name was always Paula Mooney, as if that's not my married name, Doy. I had a maiden name. I wasn't born married. First mistake. And secondly, they were like, somebody named Paula Mooney down in Florida has been arrested. It must have been her. She's been arrested. It was funny. I literally had to think, was I ever arrested in Florida? Only by the grace of God, I've never been arrested. But this person just jumped on YouTube and was like, she's been arrested and blah, blah, blah. People don't do their due diligence. But where was I going with that? Oh, if someone, and that accusation, I didn't even strike their video. I didn't even privacy. I didn't do anything with it because I was like, it's just a lie. The lie can't stand. If anyone were to try and dig into it, they would see, oh, duh, that's not her. Or that's why I tell you stuff about when Brad Simpson, husband of Suzanne Simpson, who they're searching for now in San Antonio, when he got sued by American Express, I'm like, I'm reporting him being sued. I might as well tell you guys the time I was sued by American Express, just why not? And that's just literally a part of my background, But my whole point is, fact check me, my whole point is, fine, who cares about background checking me? I have never been arrested by the grace of God. Only God's grace, let me tell you. Not to say I haven't done some things in my wayward youth that would have gotten me arrested, but thank God I never did. And my point is, I don't have to go ghost. I don't have to disappear if someone were accusing me of something. But HGhost went ghost because Once people somehow found him connected, they found his charges, and he was like, yikes. So just a few weeks ago, though, he was bragging about his influence, and this is what's scary. He wrote, I have teamed up with a Facebook group and a couple TikTok creators and influencers. I hope all these people know who he is by now. We have been planning on starting a trend in hopes of it going viral in memory of her. What trend? I don't know. To give you a rough estimate of people reached between the 3 platforms, not including the influencers, is about 80,000 people. We are planning big things to remember her by. So that's another red flag. Just him focusing on the numbers and teaming up with other people. He just did make some odd moves. I know users, of course, content creators collaborate. Nothing wrong with that. But why the focus? It was just like he was trying to build these numbers to influence people. Was it just to brag about the numbers, or was it to, okay, if I can get in contact with as many people as I can and get as many people to trust me, maybe I can get more and more and eventually get my hands on Maddie's photos. Was that his game plan? Because if you're running a Reddit sub, fine, about a case, I don't know, what's the point in, contacting all these TikTokers or all these Facebook administrators and cross-posting or whatever he was trying to get them to do? Anyway, people began thanking him for stepping into mod. Likely they thought they were talking to an honorable person. And so he's responding, thank you, I appreciate that. It's been less than 24 hours. Once I get on my feet here, I will be making a strong team of people to help me. LOL, thanks. I'm not sure what I've accomplished yet, but I guess there's been no fighting today, and there has been order, so he's basically puffing himself up for the day. The last person in charge didn't respond to mod mail, so that's moderator mail. So he said, I responded to most of those with the help of the other mods here helping me, which is scary. I think that's like you DMing a mod. I really don't think I DM mods ever that much, if ever, on Reddit. So that's scary, because to me, what has he been saying to all these people? And what if it's, I just hate to think, can you imagine? What if it's all these people trauma dumping on him and they don't even know? What if it's a person who's like, thank you so much for taking over this mod. I experienced this as a little girl and my perpetrator did that. And what if he's like, pretending to be some woman, I've been through the same thing and blah, blah, blah. And imagine who they're really talking to. They're really talking to some chomo, and we don't know if he's a chomo. Still, we know that he had these CSAM material pictures here. Not cool. Okay, so what if he's going back, and I don't even know if he's talking to younger people, like how old do you have to have a Reddit account? It's all scary. And so that's why I really wanted to do this video, to expose the larger issue of what's happening here and the sneaky ways people try and gaslight, and just how good they are at getting in and garnering trust, and us at making assumptions about who we're talking to. So he said, I changed the description to be more accurate and appropriate, as well as getting rid of a couple of rules we didn't need, and instituting 10,000 more. I've been working with people about the new memorial being created for Maddie, and I will be announcing that on here this evening. No. That memorial, I believe, has been announced on Facebook by Jenny, who I believe is trustworthy. That's why I like to see people face to face, look you in the eye, see what your spirit is like, hear your voice, instead of just some avatar hiding behind on the internet. Don't get me started, but there's such irony. He went on to write, this is the internet. You can curse here, because someone asked, can we curse here? Primarily, what I won't allow is people talking heavily only about the trauma, as well as toxicity and fighting each other. I do understand this is a very emotionally heavy case, and we all have strong opinions, including myself, and it will be a challenge for me as well. But we all have to remember why we are here, and that's not to fight others. So this man, who had sexually explicit photos that he was obviously passing around according to his listed charges of children, is talking about he won't allow people talking heavily only about the trauma as well as toxicity. I mean, it's just mind-blowing how deep this goes. People realize HGhost had an agenda we were realizing something's wrong. Someone wrote, "This entire new mod team is pathetic. No self-promotion, but aggressively promotes one YouTuber. No posting about the Wallace family from either side, but makes and quickly deletes a pro-Wallace family photo album with their Reddit username as a watermark all over the pictures, calling it proof." Because there was this rule, something about you can't mention Tyler, Maddie's dad. Like, it was okay in this subreddit to dog out Jennifer to high hell. What do I care? I mean, I don't know what she knew, but I'm just saying it was fine to dog her out, but you're not supposed to mention Tatiana and Tyler at all, which is strange. What if you're even mentioning them positively? And that's what I mean about people getting too ingratiated. I watched it with the Watts family drama all the way back in 2018, where different YouTubers might have gotten in close with the Watts side, or they got in close with the Ruchek side, and it just became this dance. And it's like not real objective third party. I'm just observing the facts of the case. It gets a little dicey. But someone else wrote, deleting threads, deleting comments, locking everything, a list of 40 plus banned words. The censorship is so bad that every discussion inevitably devolves into a meta discussion about the censorship. This sub isn't about Maddie anymore. It's about a handful of lowlives on power trips. You should all be ashamed. Whoa. So that's when somewhere in there, HGhost had called himself a fangirl of a certain YouTuber. So that's one of the many ways this pedo man nearly fooled 11,000 people or more on Reddit alone. I don't even know what happened on TikTok. Actually, the Reddit sub is up to 12,000 people now. -1 if they kick me out after this video. Anyway, but I want people to just be aware, especially we don't know who he's DMing or what the connections have been, personal stuff, and people go too far. But the scary part is he allegedly had multiple profiles. Some reportedly have been deleted, some have been removed, I think by the mods, allegedly. In the end, I believe HGhost played this sick, long mind game just to try and obtain bad photos of Maddie that he could potentially pass along to other sickos. But those photos won't be released. I mean, I told you guys about the update. We were talking with Florida connections, and she had another batch of 711 photos to release, but she told us, the docket and I, okay, they will be mostly redacted, because we were trying to figure out, okay, are these like, photos we've seen of the condo? What are these? If they're the same, we don't want them or whatever. We don't know, but she was saying they'd be mostly redacted. And so there's still a discussion. I don't know. I was just like, well, just give me the non-redacted ones. Nothing gross. I mean, maybe it's just a photo of God knows what. I don't know, when they walked in the condo, or I don't know what they are of because I haven't been told. My point is they're not going to release unless, heaven forbid, another accident happens where they accidentally post it on Instagram. But the photos that this sicko is probably going for, those will not be released. The cops have to view them, unfortunately. They had to show them to Jennifer to show her proof. Notice they didn't show them to Stearns. I don't think they ever showed it to him, which is good, because they're probably like, look, you don't need to get off on these. It's like you caused this girl enough harm. One thing this is making me think of, oh my goodness, let's hope no sickos get on the jury. It's not like you can rally to try and go for a specific case. All the sickos can't be like, yeah, jury duty is just random. They go through voir dire. But I was thinking, oh, what if a sicko was going through all this to pretend to be someone else just to get on the jury, just to be able to see the evidence? I pray to God and Jesus that does not happen. Let's close with 1 Corinthians 3:7. So neither is the one who plants nor the one who waters anything, but only God who causes the growth. So whatever the motivation is for people to run subreddits, to run Facebook groups, run YouTube channels, run TikTok accounts, we all hope our motivations are pure in that we truly are victim focused and we want to see them get their justice. We want to see their perpetrators go down. We want to learn the tactics of perpetrators. And this one just tripped me out. I've never seen someone, I guess, so slick and so sly with his words and his movements, and like that Jay-Z song, it reminds me of show you how to move in a room full of vipers. Like a viper, just trying to move and turn his way with words, studying, truly studying the true crime community, knowing it is filled with a lot of women. I mean, there are men too, some great detectives, men, retired detectives. You guys know all of them if I rattle off the names, and doing excellent work to cover cases who really care about the victims. But then we have to remember, there's these guys like this too, who are going to be lurking, who are going to say, oh, there's a child case. Let me get on in there. Let me see who I can exploit and gaslight and lie to and pretend that I want justice too for this victim. That's my only thought process. Why else would he have gone through all this? I think he's just going through all this to try and get his hands on some photos, which I pray he will never, ever, ever see in the videos either. I can't think of any other purpose unless it's to find other victims and maybe get off on them telling their stories or messaging him when they really think they're talking to a woman. That's why real life is so important. Face-to-face friends, people who we know, maybe from long ago, or even those who God just tells you, yeah, this is a divine connection, and not someone like this. So just sick. Anyway, we're going to keep going on this case, many other cases. They're still searching for Suzanne Simpson, the last I saw. We will keep up. There's a lot of trials starting. There's Delphi starting. There's a lot of stuff going on. But I had to put this deep dive out there because I think it represents a new breed of 21st century true crime coverage, and what to expect and how to immediately spot someone and immediately try and verify who they are, or just get them out of the groups or get them out and don't let them mod a damn thing. That's one reason I'm glad I never go live and I don't need mods, and I prefer to do my own research because this trust me bro stuff, ugh. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. Stay tuned for the next cases, and please, if you've had any interactions with this HGhost guy, I hope you're protected, and bless us all in Jesus' name. Thanks for watching.